It's the Watch Me Go Broke 100th episode celebration.
Oh,
Featuring a review of the Hamilton Khaki King.
.com. It really seems to pick up the mantle where Seiko just left the ball dropping and rolling and doing ever what balls do. Balls drop, balls do various things, and they clearly don't know how to handle their balls at all. I'm out of order. I'm out of order. No, Your Honor. You're out of order.
And a reading of your nasty comments. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Watch Me Go Broke's 100th episode. Gosh, 100 episodes. I cannot believe that over the course of 2 years. I can't believe it, honestly, because I'm pretty lazy. So cranking out 100 of these, it's been loads of fun. I've met a lot of wonderful people, a lot of wonderful watch companies, and I really can't thank you guys enough. For your support throughout these 2 years. So I'm going to get to the Hamilton Khaki King in just a second. But first, I want to read some of your nasty comments from over the years. So I've actually been pretty lucky. I don't get a whole lot of negative comments on the channel, which I don't know. I think negative comments are pretty funny and they don't really bother me too much, but I will start with one here. This is from John Dandola. John Dandola, and he writes, "Stop the madness. That Hamilton runs circles around that micro brand in every category. The cost of servicing the Hamilton movement is your complaint? Get a sundial, pal. Never needs servicing. A 10 for that NH36 movement? Comical. You are out of your mind. The Islander dial looks like junk. It looks like something printed on a copier machine. Come on, man. Be serious." So yeah, okay. All right, no problem there. This next one comes from Filthy Republicans. I like that. Filthy Republicans. I like that a lot. The comparison to the Omega at 116 is stellar. Maybe learn something about lighting before making a video. Yes. Oh, okay. All right then. I will learn something about lighting. Oh, this is from Jim S. It says, gotta listen to 2 minutes of utter BS from this slug before talking about a watch. Unwatchable. Yes. Now, in Jim S.'s defense, I did go back and watch that video again, and it was pretty unwatchable. So it's 100 episodes, folks. They're not all going to be winners. All right, so on to the review of the Hamilton Khaki King. First things first, on my wrist today is the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. I'm wearing this because I want to do a couple of comparisons between these two watches here. So let's get into it. And here is today's watch. This is the Hamilton Khaki King, a legendary watch. It is 40 millimeters. It has a thickness of 11 millimeters. Lug to lug of around 50 millimeters, so pretty substantial there. It has a 20 millimeter lug width. It does taper down a little bit. My caliper has run out of batteries. They should make solar-powered calipers. So if anybody knows of that, please let me know. Tapering down to this clasp, it extends up, gets a little thicker. So the case is all 316L stainless steel. It is brushed on the sides, actually brushed everywhere except for the high polished fixed bezel. Very high mirror style polish on there. You can see I've already nicked this up a little bit. Have been wearing it, so you know that I do use my watches, which is a good thing. The crown is a push-pull crown with just 50 meters of water resistance on this watch today. I will go into that a little bit later, but let's get her fired up here. The movement is going to be the Hamilton H40, which is a modified 2834-2. This does beat at 21,600 vibrations per hour. The 2834 in its regular state beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. So this has been slowed down to give you what kind of is what Hamilton is doing with most of their watches now. An 80-hour power reserve. So you have a huge power reserve of 80 hours. Kind of a gimmick to me. I don't know why you would really ever need an 80-hour power reserve, but, you know, it's there if you need it. So the H40 does feature a day and date complication at the 12 o'clock position. So you have the day of the week and then the date just below that. It's kind of like a T-style cutout at the top of the dial. And speaking of the dial is very, very much the same as the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. With notable exceptions, the tip on the second hand is white on this one. It's red on the Khaki Automatic. And of course, you've got the day and date complication at the 12 o'clock position. Apart from that and the size, they're not very different. And taking a look at the case back, it is a good looking case back. I like the lines and the cutouts for the case back removal tools. They look very sharp, very, very nice. So it is a screw down case back displaying that Hamilton H40 movement. It is an automatic movement, so you see the rotor oscillating back and forth. Something to look at, you know, whether it's needed on this watch or not, I don't know. It's a cool feature. The rotor is decorated a little bit with that retro Hamilton cutout there. 25 joules, Swiss. You've got Swiss made, water resistant, 5 bar, that's 50 meters, and but you can put it to 72.5 psi if you need to. Swiss made there, and of course the code for the watch there. So the crystal is sapphire today with 0 anti-reflective coating, as you can see my forehead and my hair, and I didn't comb my hair or anything, but who cares there. So it's really my same complaint that I have with the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. No coating of anti-reflective nature on that at all. So outside it is a little bit difficult to read. So the dial, as I said, is pretty much the same as the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. You've got concentric circles that go all the way around the track where the Arabic numerals are. So you have that there. You've got 24 hours military time, if you will, around the inner ring. Hamilton just below the 12 o'clock, and then above the 6 o'clock you've got Khaki Automatic, and just below the 6 o'clock you will see there it says Swiss made. You've got 5-minute increments all the way around the minute track there. So as far as keeping accurate time, or at least able to accurately measure time, this watch really does have a lot of features in that regard. So the crown is just a push-pull crown. It is embossed with the Hamilton logo. Let me give her a go here. So first position changes the date. Second position, the Hamilton H40 does hack. And then you go around the dial. Whoop, I just did it there. So let me get this around again here. And so here you go. And oh, just before 12. So that's a really cool feature, because even though that the day of the week complication there is very wide, it still does snap over instantly at 12. So let me get out of the danger zone, the highway to the danger zone here. Okay, so pulling it out to the second position, and this is where you can change the date here. So roll it forward and it does change the date. As you can see there, I've got the hand in the way, but you can see it. And roll it backwards is where you change the date, and it kind of does it in 2 parts. So there you go. There is just a part of the complication. So you do have a quick set day and date. So taking a look at the bracelet, the first thing you will notice is it is inverted links. It's actually negative end links there. So This is going to wear pretty good, even though the lug to lug is 50 millimeters. I think that was a good thing on Hamilton's part. You definitely did not want to do protruding male style end links. I think that would have been way too big for most wrists. But this negative, it's going to wear really, really well. The bracelet is a 3-link style bracelet. It is push pins, which I love push pins. I know guys are like, you got to have screws. You got to have screws. No, you don't. Oh my gosh, screws. Gosh, you can cross thread them and everything. I just don't think screws are the bee's knees most of the time, but I like push pins. I think it's pretty secure. So 3-link bracelet here. It does taper down a bit to this clasp, and you'll see I've already scuffed this up a little bit. So this clasp really does lend itself to some scuffing. Let me buff that out. Ooh. The clasp, I really like this clasp. There is one drawback. It is a milled clasp there. The one drawback, double pusher to deploy, is only 2 micro adjustments. So you're either going to be wearing this watch too loose or too tight. I found, really with my wrist, I think I've been lucky. I've found pretty much a sweet spot there. I did have to take out, I believe it was 1 or 2, I think it was 2 links. So this watch, to me, is not going to fit like a massive sized wrist, but I think if you're anywhere between, 7 and 7 3/4, you should be okay. 8 might be pushing it a little bit for this timepiece here. And so the hands are syringe style hands, and the hour and minute, and then you have the arrow style second hand that reaches all the way to the minute track. So this is a nod to Hamilton's military heritage from back in World War II, where they would provide military watches for the military. Yeah, let me say military one more time. And speaking of that, let me put the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic next to this so you can kind of see the similarities. So these two watches are very similar in dial style for sure. It really is the same dial apart from the day and date complication there. So I'm not sure really where this one fits in Hamilton's catalog right now. I do think it's a good watch. I think it's a decent everyday watch. But I'm not sure why you would choose this over this. The day complication really isn't enough for me to choose. But yeah, so you'll see the differences. The red arrow tip on the Hamilton Khaki automatic, it's white on the Khaki King. Of course, the date position is different, but apart from that, it's pretty much the same. High polished bezel. You'll notice the crown guards on the Khaki King, so you're going to get a little bit of protection there. It is a oversized crown on the Khaki automatic. So yeah, I mean, if you had to choose, this is 38 millimeters, and it also comes in a 42. This is 40 millimeters, so it's kind of like an in-between size. I don't really think there's a massive size difference between this one and this one. So if it was up to me, I would probably go with this one over the Khaki King because I don't think there's really enough there. And again, between the two, this has 100 meters of water resistance, and this just has 50. And for an everyday watch, I think you want, as much water resistance as you can, whether you're caught in a rainstorm or you get pushed in a pool, something like that. And this one probably would be okay, but for my money, this is a little bit more of a better proposition. And you get that cool red pop of color on the second hand. So what do I like about this watch? Well, really the first thing I love the bracelet. I really do. I think it's really great. It's very light. It's not like super substantial or anything, but I just think it works really well with this watch. Love the negative end links. I think that's a great choice that they did. So it's going to wear much better than the dimensions would say. The clasp, I really like the clasp, even though it gets scuffed up quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, not a lot to write home about here, but it gets the job done, and I really like it. I like the look of it. And I do like the day-date complication. I think it adds a little bit of class to this watch. It kind of takes it from the military style and kicks it up a notch just a bit into like maybe a dress field watch style. I think you'd be fine wearing this with a suit and wearing it to the office. I don't think anybody's gonna, think that you shouldn't be wearing this watch. It is a watch that will work in pretty much every situation you have, unless you're going to go swimming with the 50 meters of water resistance. That's disappointing. It should have been 100. I don't know why it wasn't. I know that's a gripe that a lot of reviewers have about this watch, but it is a good looking watch. Just where it fits into Hamilton's catalog, I'm a little confused. So what do I not like about this watch? Well, number one, the anti-reflective coating, as you can see, is not there on the crystal. So yeah, you're going to have difficulty seeing this in certain situations. On the day date complication, it is actually set, the day and the date is set farther away from the dial. And as you can see, there's a shadow there where the date is. And in certain lights, it will almost completely cut out the entire day. Or the entire date. So that to me, it's a little bit of a drawback there. I also would have liked to see this kind of stay true to the ETA movement that it was based on. I would like to see 28,800 vibrations per hour. Not every watch has to have 80 hours of power reserve. I mean, if you're looking at 41, 42, that's generally plenty for anything anybody needs to do. So the 80-hour gimmick that's going on, it doesn't need to be in every watch. If you want to do it in your lower line, like I know the hand wind watches, that's cool, with a hand wind, because you don't want to be hand winding it every day. I mean, so that's a nice feature, like on the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. But on the automatics, it's really, almost worthless. I know people say, well, you want to put your watch down on Friday and then pick it up on Monday and, wear it and you don't have to wind it or set the time. Well, it's an automatic watch. Unless it's like COSC certified or something, you're probably going to have to reset the time because it's going to be, off at a certain time, depending on how the watch is regulated. This one is actually regulated pretty good. It's running, I think, within a couple of seconds a day, so pretty good there. And there it is out in the natural world on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it wears really well. The 50 mil lug to lug is not too big because of the negative end links. I think it wears really, really well. The thinness of 11 millimeters really makes this a nice, non-intrusive watch that you can use in a multitude of daily activities. Wearing it to work, I've worn it to work many times, which is why it's nicked up. I think it looks great. Really, really overall a good watch. So let's check out the lume. Yeah, the lume is pretty crappy. The hands do fine. The indices, as par for the course with this line of field watches, they do fade pretty quickly over time. I should show you this in the dark, but trust me, it's not really anything to look at. So my overall thoughts for the watch, yeah, I don't know where it fits in the catalog, really. I think if you had to choose or you were on the fence between which Hamilton you should get, I think you should get this one. You can get it in a bigger size of 42, but this 38, there's not a whole lot of difference. And there's just something, a little more toolish about this watch, I think, and the red secondhand, really cool. I do like the Khaki King. I just would have liked to see more differences between these two watches. I don't know why you would buy one and also have the other. Of course I did, but that's what I'm a weirdo like that. But I don't know why you would have both of these watches in your collection, because they pretty much are the same thing for the most part. So my advice, if you choose between the two, if you think 38's too small for you, go with this. It is 40 millimeters, and I think you'll be happy, other than the water resistance. But, that's I guess if you're careful with your watches, it's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, guys, thank you for 100 episodes. I'm super thrilled. I hope I can do 100 more if I live that long. So, yeah, guys, that's all I have for today, and I will see you next time.